Hi, everyone. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. I am Teresa Rocky. I'm the owner and founder of Family Formers. We're located in Jupiter, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Um, I was actually from St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida. I started Family Formers 13 years ago. Um, Everybody says, well, you know, I know what you're going to go through. No, they don't, not unless you've been through it. I have 3 boys via an egg donor and 2 surrogates. I met Layla at a mother of multiples meeting, and she had just had identical twins. She had a better chance of winning the Powerball. She was on her last embryo after several tries with IVF, and her embryo split. So right there, you see 5 little boys that are Layla and I's. And Layla had a master's degree in psychology. We started talking about what we went through, our journeys, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And before mine were born, after 3 egg donors that failed, a surrogate that failed, all the things that could go wrong went wrong. And I said, you know what? This can be done better. I did hours and hours of research, and I saw the things that went wrong. And I said, I'm going to fix this because I'm going to become a parent advocate. And I'm going to teach parents how to mitigate failure. So we became a boutique company. And that sounds like very, a boutique company. I don't know that I like that word, but it is good because you're not a number. You're an actual person. And we're not a gigantic company. I don't want to be. So we accept 40 clients per year. You have my phone number, my personal phone number, 24/7. And we have about 700 babies to our credit. Right now, 60% of our clients are dads, singles, and couples. I have 6 dads right now coming back on their second journeys with us, and we become family. And this is what we do. Um, there's my boys. Believe it or not, the tall one and the middle one are twins. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And the little one was supposed to be a girl, but that God has a great sense of humor. So just when you think you got this plan, let me tell you, you don't. Those are Layla's identical twin boys. She never saw that one coming. She thought it was a single, got to the ultrasound, and there they are. We just went to their 12th birthday party. And so at the time, my husband couldn't make it to the hospital when my third one was born. So guess who was there? Layla. So she was there when my third one was born. So why are we different? We're honest and transparent. I tell you everything up front. I educate you. I tell you everything. What you're learning here is about this much. When I get done with you, you're going to know that much, everything. And again, we try to mitigate the failure. Because remember I don't know how many of you were here last night. I think I spoke with a few of you in regards to this. Remember when the gentleman said, we failed 7 times? Or I failed 7? There's a reason he did that. There's a reason I failed 3 times. And if I get a chance to talk with you personally, I will explain why that occurred and why we don't let that happen. And so when we fail, we spend more money. We're not going to fail because we're not going to do that. And we also, in Florida, we have some of the best surrogacy laws in the country in Florida. We really do. With our company, our surrogates, our egg donors are in Florida. I'm not going to fly surrogates and donors all over the country to have your cost go skyrocketing. I don't need a Harvard graduate to get you enough eggs. I mean, if you want a Harvard graduate, you want to spend that kind of money, you want to fly these girls in. My egg donor went to UF, and I've got really smart kids. My 3 boys are all in gifted programs. They're amazing. So I promise my egg donors are amazing, and we don't have to fly them in. Our surrogates, 90% are from Florida. The only reason I use a couple outside of Florida is because they were previous surrogates of ours. We love them. And they moved to, one's in Mississippi, one's in North Carolina. Other than that, our surrogates are in Florida. What did I just do? I kept your costs down. That's because I'm a parent that went through this. And that's what I want to do for you guys. When you use a surrogate from us and an egg donor, this is all the things that we do. We do far more than most agencies do. And I'll get into even more. Once we have our surrogate pregnant, we get all the appointments for the surrogate. We handle all of these things for you. We set up a group chat where you're involved with the surrogates. We're involved. We become a team. From the very beginning I start working with you, we are a team. And you're not pawned off to this representative or this representative. You're with me, with Layla, and with our assistants. And we only have 2. You get us. We have 40 of you per year. That's it. And when we start with you, we are married to you for 1 year or a year and a half, however long it takes. But the other thing, too, what's important, is the average amount of time for other agencies, other IVF clinics. This is what they don't tell you. 6 to 8 months before you get your egg donor and your surrogate pregnant. With us, 3 to 4 months, if you follow our program and I help you and we get going, when you're ready. Or you can do it in phases. Some of you guys may say, well, I can't do it all at once, and that's fine. We can do it in phases. We can get your babies made. We can start that in a phase, and we can do the surrogacy in another phase. We can do that as well. We work with you to tailor this to what you need and when you need it. And with that, I am going to introduce you to one of the toughest clients I have ever had. And this is Daniel.
Hello. I have no voice, but I'm going to get through this. How's everybody feeling today? How many of you always knew you wanted to be a father? Raise your hands. 6 years ago, I sat in those same shoes. And this is so emotional. I remember sitting in those chairs and just being overcome with emotions because it was the first time in my life that I was able to take steps to becoming a dad, which is very powerful. And today, I am the proud father of 3-year-old twins, Dean and Devin. And it all started in this conference, in those chairs. And I remember being so overwhelmed with emotion. It was so confusing. I had no idea how we were going to be able to afford this. I remember leaving and I remember talking to my husband and just being like, how are we ever going to do this? And even though I took 1 step forward, it felt like I took 2 steps back because, honey, I just look like I got money. But I don't, okay? So hold on, I wrote down some notes. So what we did was we went and we interviewed every single clinic and IVF agency, everybody that we could talk to, we could. Why? Because when we first started out, we had no idea what we were looking for. We didn't know. We want kids. How do we make that happen? And what are the steps that you need to take in order to get there? So, like Teresa mentioned, yes, I drilled her. And that's why I'm up here. Because I am a type A, I'm Cuban, so I'm very passionate about everything, including tying my shoes. And I remember asking her specific questions about the egg donor. And what did Teresa do? She basically recreated the whole format of how she asked egg donor questions in order to get it to intended parents because of me. And right there, I was like, this is the woman for me because she gets it. She knows how important this is. In interviewing other companies and choosing egg donors, sometimes it felt like it was like Match.com, but for your eggs, for your egg donor. And that wasn't for me either. I was like, no, I'm not flipping through a website picking our egg donor. I wanted something very specific. Surprise, surprise. And one of the things that I loved about Family Formers was that it was is a boutique agency. And I was able to tell them exactly what I wanted. And then I got an email with a handful of options for me that were, if not exactly what I wanted, very close to what I wanted. Now, as a gay man, we're used to getting a lot of the things that we want and instantly. And that's not the case for a surrogacy journey. You will have the children that you are meant to have. When we started this process, I said, I want a Cuban egg donor because I'm Cuban. Makes sense, right? So unfortunately, I couldn't go with an egg donor, but what did Teresa do? Immediately, she was like, I have an egg. So the reason why I didn't go with an egg donor, the Cuban one, is because we shared the same genetic disorder. We were probably related at some point, which is not something that happens, right? But just my luck. Teresa says, I have an egg donor. She's a proven egg donor. And she carries no genetic disorders. Now, if I would have been the stomach Cuban, and I would have been like, no, that's not what I want. I want a Cuban egg donor, my process would have been a lot longer. So this process happened in 2019, so it was before the pandemic. We were matched within 2.5 months. And we ended up with that egg donor, which was not Cuban, who was French American, and my kids are blonde and blue-eyed. So it's just that even though there's certain things that you want in life, there has to be some sort of flexibility here, and that a higher power at work here, and that you have to know that what's meant to be will be, and that those kids are already, yours. And there has to be some flexibility. Before I get to the surrogate, I want to talk about a vision board because we don't talk enough about this. So what we did was at Men Having Babies at that point 6 years ago, they gave out magnets that were sperm and eggs. So what did we do? We put those on our fridge. And everybody that would walk into our house would be like, what is that? It's like, well, we want to start growing our family, and we went to this conference. And what that did was it allowed the conversation to flow. And it allowed us to bring it into fruition and let the universe, give us that. So I urge you to put something up in your house to potentially have those conversations with your loved ones, because the more you talk about it, the more it becomes a reality. And now, for the best part, we were matched with an angel on earth, our surrogate. the best woman that I know. Now, I am a prime example of what happens when the process goes as good as possible. And I would be doing you guys a disservice if I told you that the process always goes as smooth. It does not. There will be roadblocks. Even if it's a little bump, there will be. And you have to be prepared for that. Our surrogate was an incredible woman that wanted nothing more than to help a family raise or grow their family. And the day my children were born was one of the best days of my life. And I feel if I wouldn't have had children, I would have lived a life that was half lived. My children, oh, that's our surrogate, Tiffany. She's not available anymore. My children mean the world to me. Teresa is the real deal. She's not paying me to be up here. She invited me to come, and it has been such an impactful journey that anytime she tells me, will you talk to these dads? I say, absolutely, Teresa, what is it that you need? Because out of all those vendors out there, the one that stood out the most, the one that had the most heart, and the one that I knew that I could trust with my future was Family Formers. And thank God that I did. So my Instagram is daniel.marzoa. I'm happy to help you guys in any way that I can. It is important as a community that we help each other. And that's why I'm here. I'm here for you guys. Because if you guys don't have someone to lean on and ask questions to, then what are we doing? And I hope that you guys pay it forward too. Because this is 100% going to change your life. Because of it, started a podcast called the Dad Hour Podcast, which is basically, it's basically how to start this process from beginning to end, because it is that confusing. I am sending you guys so much love, and whatever you guys need, reach out on Instagram. I'm happy to do so.
We're going to run out of time, but I'm going to be in here another 20 minutes. If you want to stay, I'm going to talk about some more things. I didn't get through everything, but please come by the booth. I'll be there. I'm happy to do private conversations with you. I've seen a lot of you guys already, but I'll give you my card. I'm happy to speak with you. And thank you guys for coming here. I really appreciate it a lot. Thank you, guys.